It started the same way any good Saturday morning starts: black coffee, cold air, and silence. I'm 52 years old. I've worked the same job for nearly 3 decades, and I've been married for 25 of those years to a woman I thought I knew better than myself. Her name's Julia. We met in our 20s. She had that kind of easy laugh that made people stop and look. I remember thinking I was the luckiest man alive when she said yes. We've been through the usual things: mortgage payments, kids, long nights, arguments about money, Sunday trips to Home Depot. Nothing flashy. Just a regular American life. Or at least, that's what I thought. My birthday was coming up. The big 5-2. Nothing major, but my daughter wanted to throw me a small get-together. Nothing fancy, just family, some old friends, and a big chocolate cake. Julia was in charge of the planning. She loves hosting. Always has. But this year, something felt off. I first noticed it 3 weeks before my birthday. Julia started leaving her phone face down. She used to scroll Pinterest next to me on the couch. Now she'd flinch every time I walked into the room. She'd disappear for 20-minute errands and come back empty-handed. At first, I brushed it off. I told myself I was imagining things. That maybe she was planning a surprise party. That maybe I was just tired. But then I found the receipt. It was late. She was asleep. I was looking for batteries in the junk drawer when I saw it, tucked under some old Christmas cards. A hotel receipt. $214.89. 2 nights. Hilton Garden Inn. Paid in full. Her name. It wasn't a business trip. She hadn't said anything about going anywhere. And it definitely wasn't for me. I stood in the kitchen for 10 minutes, just holding that piece of paper. My hands were shaking, but my face? Calm. Completely calm. I didn't say anything the next morning. I made eggs. She smiled at me, kissed my cheek. And I smiled right back. That day, I went out to the garage, sat in my truck, and started thinking. Thinking real hard. The thing is, I'm not a dramatic man. I don't yell. I don't throw punches. But I don't forgive betrayal either. If you lie to me once, you'll never get the chance to lie again. So I made a plan. I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. I wanted her to feel safe. I wanted her to think I was clueless, that I was aging into softness. I wanted her guard down. All the way down. I went about my days like normal. I went to work. I talked about football with the guys. I came home, kissed her, and asked about her day. Meanwhile, I went through the phone bill. Found a number she'd been texting. Over 200 messages in 1 week. Not a name, just a number. I wrote it down. Then I called my cousin Marcus. He's a retired cop. Knows a guy who still runs traces. 3 hours later, I had a name: Ed Derek Miles. A 39-year-old gym manager. Tall. Muscular. Divorced. Lives in a condo not far from the hotel on the receipt. I didn't need pictures. I didn't need texts. I knew. I just knew. But that's not the part that hurt the most. What hurt was how normal she acted. She laughed with our daughter. She baked banana bread. She watched Jeopardy on the couch next to me like nothing was wrong. Like we were still us. And maybe that's what betrayal really is. It's not the affair itself. It's the pretending. The performance. I waited. Patient. Calculated. Then my daughter told me Julia had reserved a venue for my birthday. Nothing big. Just a hall downtown. She had invited my brother, my coworkers, her parents, even our old neighbors. Perfect. I decided that would be the day. That would be the day I took everything she thought she controlled and flipped it upside down. Not with shouting. Not with violence. Just with the truth. You see, people expect revenge to be loud. Explosive. But real revenge? It's quiet. It's timed. It hits when they feel safest. So, the night before the party, I stayed up late. I printed screenshots. Text logs. The hotel receipt. A copy of her calendar, which I downloaded from her cloud account. Every date she told me she was at the store, or meeting up with a friend, she was with him. I printed them all. I put them in envelopes. Labeled each one with a name, her father, her mother, her best friend, a daughter, my brother. Then I wrote a letter. Not to Julia. But to everyone else. Explaining who she really was. Explaining what she had done. Explaining why I wasn't going to yell at the party. Why I'd just smile. And walk away. The next day was sunny. I shaved. Put on my best button-down. Drove to the venue 15 minutes early. Set the envelopes under each chair. Nobody noticed. And when Julia walked in, wearing that red dress I always loved, I smiled. She smiled back. "Happy birthday, honey," she said. "Thank you," I said. Then I raised my glass. "Before we begin," I told the crowd, "I just want to say one thing." I stood there, glass in hand, surrounded by people who'd known me for decades. My daughter was holding her phone, recording. Julia sat in the front row, her smile steady. Calm. Confident. She had no idea. I cleared my throat. Then I said, "Before we begin, I just want to say one thing. I want to thank everyone here. Not just for coming, but for standing by me all these years. I've lived a quiet life. I've worked hard. I've loved my family. I've been faithful. Honest. Maybe too honest." The room was still. You could hear the AC buzzing. I never thought I'd be giving a speech like this. But life surprises you. Doesn't it? I looked straight at Julia. She was frozen. Something in her eyes shifted. She tilted her head. Smiled again. That smile, the one I used to love. I smiled back. "I want to talk about truth. About loyalty. About the things we do when no one's watching." Her smile started to fade. I took a breath. Deep and controlled. I used to think that love meant turning a blind eye. Forgiving. Giving people space to be imperfect. But now I know, love isn't blindness. It's not silence. Love is clarity. I reached under the table. Pulled out a thick envelope. Held it up. "This," I said, "is the truth." Julia shifted in her seat. Her mouth opened slightly. She knew. But it was too late. "These," I continued, "are receipts. Screenshots. Dates. Times. Every lie, wrapped in paper. Every moment I was at home waiting, while she was elsewhere." Gasps echoed from the back row. Her father furrowed his brow. My daughter stopped recording. "Julia," I said softly, "this isn't about anger. It's about freedom. You took my peace. So now, I'm taking yours." I walked over to the front row. Handed her the envelope. She didn't take it. So I dropped it in her lap. Then I turned back to the room. "There's an envelope under each of your seats," I said. "Don't open them yet. Just know, what's inside will explain everything. And if you're wondering why I chose today, this moment, this gathering, it's simple. I looked around. I didn't want to lie anymore. My brother looked stunned. My mother-in-law was whispering something to her husband. My best friend stared at the floor. I kept going. Marriage is supposed to be built on trust. On respect. I gave everything I had to this woman. 25 years. A house. A daughter. A future. And what did I get in return? My voice cracked, just a little. I let the silence hang. Then I said it. Deceit. Julia stood up suddenly. This isn't the time, she hissed. Can we talk outside? I shook my head. No. You had your chance. She stepped toward me. You're embarrassing yourself. I chuckled. No, Julia. You did that for me. Then I turned to the guests. This party's over. I won't make a scene. I won't shout. But I won't pretend either. I'm leaving tonight. The documents have been filed. My lawyer will be in touch. And with that, I walked out. No applause. No yelling. Just silence. I walked to my truck. The sun was still bright. But I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Light. Free. I stayed in a motel that night. Small place. Smelled like dust and cigarettes. But the bed was clean, and the air was quiet. I turned off my phone. I didn't want to see the messages. Not yet. The next morning, I turned it back on. 37 missed calls. 16 voicemails. My daughter texted me. Dad. I'm with you. I love you. I had no idea. That message hit me harder than anything else. Because I hadn't just lost a wife. I'd risked losing my little girl. But she chose the truth. She chose me. Over the next few days, the fallout came like waves. Julia's father tried calling. Apologized. Said he didn't raise her that way. Her mother blamed me. Said I shouldn't have humiliated her in public. I didn't respond. Let them twist. Let them think. Julia texted once. Just once. It said, "You ruined everything." And I smiled. Because no, Julia. I didn't ruin anything. I just stopped pretending. 3 weeks later, I signed the final papers. Gave her the house. I didn't want it anymore. Too many ghosts in the walls. I took my truck. My tools. My books. And my dog, Max. We moved 2 towns over. Quiet place. Lots of trees. Nobody knew me there. And I liked it that way. Sometimes, people ask if I regret it. If I wish I'd stayed quiet. Saved face. Let it go. No. Not for a second. Because when you've been living in a lie, even silence becomes poison. And truth? Truth sets everything on fire. But sometimes, that's the only way to start over. It's funny. When someone betrays you, you expect the pain to come all at once. Like a punch to the chest. But it doesn't. It comes in pieces. Quiet moments. Empty coffee mugs. A cold bed. An unlocked phone with no one left to text. And in that silence, you start to think. Not just about what happened. But about who helped make it happen. Derek Miles. Her gym friend. The man she swore was just helping her stay in shape. 40, divorced, drives a Dodge Charger with blacked-out windows. I'd never met him. Never even seen him in person. But I knew him. I knew the type. Fake charm. Flexing in the mirror more than in the gym. Looking for weak spots in other people's marriages. Finding women who want excitement, and giving them just enough attention to blow their lives apart. So, after I left Julia, I decided Derek deserved a little attention of his own. I didn't go knocking on his door. No shouting. No fists. That's not how I do things. Remember? Real revenge is quiet. Precise. So I started with what I knew. Derek was the general manager at a gym chain not far from my old neighborhood. They had a clean image, family-friendly, community-oriented. He posted a lot on their social media. Pictures with clients. Smiling with protein shakes. Motivational quotes. But one post caught my eye. A group photo, team night out. And right there, on his chest, was his name tag. Full name. Position. And the logo of the company. That's all I needed. Next step? LinkedIn. I built a fake profile. Simple. Respectable. Fake name. Corporate background. HR manager. Added a few common connections. Gave it a clean photo. A fake university. Then I sent Derek a message. Hi Derek, I'm with Orion Group Corporate HR. We've had several inquiries about employee conduct across partner locations. We're conducting quiet background assessments and would appreciate a quick reply. Took 2 hours for him to respond. Hey. Sure, happy to help. What's this about? Perfect. While that was simmering, I reached out to the gym's actual corporate headquarters. This time? I used my real name. Told them I was a former member. Said I had concerns about inappropriate behavior by one of their managers. Mentioned a possible affair with a married client, leading to public fallout and reputational damage. I didn't accuse. I hinted. I let the corporate paranoia do the rest. And just in case they needed more incentive, I created a Google review. Anonymous. 1 star. Incredibly unprofessional manager, used his position to get close to married women. My friend's family was destroyed because of this place. That review? Got over 50 likes in 2 days. Then came phase 3. Derek had a side hustle, fitness coaching online. He advertised it on Instagram. So I made a burner account. And I messaged his girlfriend. Yes. He had one. Different woman. Different city. She posted a selfie with him 2 weeks after my party. Caption? My rock. My protector. I nearly laughed. I sent her everything. Screenshots. Receipts. Hotel dates. And a little note, you deserve the truth, too. She blocked me an hour later. But the next morning? Derek's coaching page was offline. Completely wiped. I don't know what happened between them. I don't care. What mattered to me was that now Derek knew. He wasn't invisible. He wasn't untouchable. He wasn't just the other man. He was a name. A face. A reputation. And I cracked it. Piece by piece. Just like he cracked my life. A week later, I heard through a mutual friend, Derek was taking a leave from the gym. There was corporate investigation mentioned. No details. But the timing? Too perfect to be coincidence. Julia tried calling again. Didn't leave a message. I didn't answer. See, This isn't about being vindictive. It's about justice. It's about balance. She had her secret. He had his fun. But in the end, I had the final move. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I didn't post dramatic videos or throw hands in a parking lot. I simply let the truth out. And let it land where it needed to. These days, I sleep better. No more second guessing. No more watching the door, waiting for a lie to walk in. I'm still alone. But I'm not broken. And when people ask what happened to my marriage, I just smile and say, it didn't survive the truth. But between you and me, the truth didn't just end it. It saved me. And it took down the man who thought he could steal what he didn't earn. It had been 3 months. 3 quiet, clean, undisturbed months. Since I left the house. Since I said goodbye to the life I built with Julia. Since I burned every bridge, with the kind of peace only the betrayed understand. I thought it was over. But liars rarely go quietly. And regret has a way of crawling back to your doorstep, just when you've learned to live without it. It was a Tuesday. Early morning. Rain tapping the windows of my new apartment like a soft, slow heartbeat. Max, my old lab, was curled up by the couch. I was halfway through my first cup of coffee when I heard the knock. Not frantic. Not loud. Just deliberate. Like someone who had nothing left to lose. I opened the door. And there she was. Julia. Soaked from the rain. Hair stuck to her face. Eyes swollen. Her makeup had melted, like the last layer of pride trying to hang on. She didn't say a word. Just stood there, like she expected me to pull her in. I didn't move. After a long pause, she whispered, "Can I come in?" I looked her dead in the eye. Then I stepped aside. Not because I wanted her back. But because I wanted to hear the lie she came to sell. She sat on the couch like it was still hers. Max didn't move. Didn't wag his tail. Smart dog. She looked around the room. Noticed how bare it was. How clean. She tried to smile. "It's quiet here." I nodded. "That's the point." She looked down at her hands. They were shaking. She started to speak. Stopped. Then started again. "I didn't know how bad I hurt you." I didn't answer. She kept going. "I thought it was just a phase. A mistake. I never wanted to leave you." I raised an eyebrow. "A phase with hotel keys? A mistake with another man's name on your calendar?" She looked away. Tears rolled down her cheek. But I didn't reach for a tissue. I didn't move closer. I just watched. She wiped her face. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I had to say this. I'm sorry. I was lost. Derek meant nothing. He was just noise." "Noise that lasted how long?" I asked. She hesitated. 8 months. I nodded. More than I expected. Less than I imagined. Still enough to kill a marriage. She leaned forward. "There's something else." Of course there was. Liars never come with one truth. They come with a warm-up act, then the real performance. She opened her purse. Pulled out a folded sheet of paper. Placed it on the table. "I talked to a lawyer," she said. "I want to sign over the house. It's yours." "I don't want it. Not after what I did there." I didn't touch the paper. Because I knew. That wasn't the real reason she came. And she knew I knew. So I waited. And after a long breath, she dropped the act. "There's something else," she repeated. Then her voice broke. "I'm pregnant." The silence in that room was like a crack of thunder. I didn't blink. Didn't breathe. She looked at me. Desperate. Wounded. Hopeful. I narrowed my eyes. "And you're here because?" She swallowed. Hard. "I don't know if it's yours or his." There it was. The final lie. Wrapped in the last shred of hope she had left. I stood up. Slowly. Walked to the window. Watched the rain run down the glass like veins on a broken map. Then I turned back to her. "You want me to believe that during the time you were sneaking out, sleeping around, lying to my face, you also happened to be sleeping with me?" She nodded. "I didn't stop loving you." I laughed. Sharp. Cold. "No. You just stopped respecting me. And now that your little fantasy fell apart, you think I'm your safety net." She flinched. But I didn't stop. "Let me tell you something, Julia. That child, if it even exists, has a father. And it's not me. Not anymore." She tried to interrupt. I raised my hand. No more speeches. No more tears. No more "I was confused" or stories. I pointed to the door. "You made your bed. You just didn't think you'd have to sleep in it alone." She stood. Picked up her purse. Didn't touch the paper on the table. Didn't say goodbye. She just left. And as the door closed behind her, I felt it. Not anger. Not sadness. But closure. Clean. Sharp. Final. I walked back to the kitchen. Refilled my coffee. Sat down. Max stretched, yawned, laid his head on my foot. And for the first time in years, I smiled without guilt. Because I wasn't the man she betrayed anymore. I was the man who survived it.